Hello and welcome to Fly Nubian Money. I am Athena. I am today's host, and we are going to be talking about Miss Tabitha Brown. Now, Darius Cooks weighs in on Tabitha Brown's brand partnerships, and we had some choice words to share with us on that. Is she a fool or financially savvy? Now, joining us today are your lovely hosts and queens, honey. We have Miss Felice Hightower Britt, licensed clinical mental health counselor and the Be Big coach. We have Moya, tax professional and founder of Juneteenth School. Y'all, doesn't she look like a goddess today with her goddess hair, honey? And we have Dr. Charm, honey, who does all the things. She is a doctor. She is a comedian, actress, superwoman. And of course, myself, Athena Gardner, CPA, honey, because the girl is smart. And also founder of We Wealth Women. So today we're talking business. We are talking about Tabitha Brown, and I love me some Tabitha, okay? I love, she popped off during the pandemic, okay, with her vegan and her whole healthy, holistic lifestyle, and she has been running the game, but it seems like she has a little hater with fellow food personality, Darius Cooks. Now, for those of you who may have been living under the rock, Darius also is in that space, has his own business, runs that company, and had some choice words, which we're going to take a look at what he had to say about Tabitha.
Target put your product on the bottom shelf. Target put your product not in optimal eyesight. Target bought 8 pallets from you. If you don't sell them 8 pallets, guess what happened? You owe Target money. That's in the contract. Tabitha got her name on something. There's two different concepts. Target coming to you to use your name is one thing. And I'm going to go a step further. She a fool for doing that. I don't care if they paying her $3-4 million. She's a fool for doing that. How many followers does Tabitha Brown have? Millions, right? She could convert 1 million of her followers into buying a $56 air fryer. That's $56 million to your bottom line. She a fool for doing it. There's no goddamn way in hell I would have ever signed my name. I don't give a shit how popular I was. I would have never signed my name to Target. I don't care if Target giving her $10 million. She could have started her own company. She could have sold her own product. $56 million out the gate. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way in hell I would have ever. 20 million ain't even enough. She a fool for doing it.
All right, so it seems like Darius must know Tabitha's deal more than we do because he had a lot to say. So I want to just start with reactions first. So was he right? Is Tabitha a fool for doing it or financially savvy for doing it? So I want the audience to also weigh in. Is Tabitha a fool for partnering with Target, or is she also a financially astute woman for doing so? So Dr. Charm, I want your initial reactions to that video. What were you thinking? Did you agree with him? Do you think that it's just another black man yelling at a black woman and tearing us down? Or do you think he was making some sound business advice in there?
Yeah, I got my glasses on today because I'm finna read. Okay. First of all, he over there in the car with his fizzy drink. pocket watching like a hater, like the hater that he is. And y'all he better watch and leave Tabitha alone, because you know she come out of North Carolina, and she from that hoodoo tradition over there. Because y'all don't know, Tabitha got the clairvoyance. She already said that she prophesied to Shannon Sharp that he was gonna get his own show and he was gonna be successful. And so she ain't even afraid to hide it. Y'all saw what happened to Wendy Williams after Wendy Williams talked about Tabitha and her marriage. All Tabitha did was just say a prayer. Honey, she prayed over her enemy. And honey, I believe Tabitha Brown ancestors don't play about her, because next thing you know, Wendy was in that facility. So y'all better watch what y'all say talking about Tabitha.
Listen. So Moya, what were your thoughts? Do you think Darius was giving some sound business game? Or was he just being a hater?
So I could see the point that he was making for sure. The only thing is we don't know her deal. Like, we don't know anything about what she has with Target. So because we don't know, we're not able to say anything. One of the things is you have to understand is, who wants to run a Shopify store if you don't need to? We're talking about Target, and we're talking about name recognition. And when I looked at, from what I saw briefly, it said she has a permanent collection. So that's the first time I heard of that. I had to go look up, what deal did Martha Stewart have with Kmart? Like, wow, I think it's a pretty big deal.
I think it's a pretty big deal too, but I also have some thoughts about it, because I see both sides. But like you said, Moya, we don't know exactly what is in her deal. But Darius talking like he got a contract right in front of his face. So, Felice, what do you think? Right, Felice, what do you think? Do you think that it was his place to even comment on Tabitha's deal like that, or give that feedback? Oh, you're on mute.
I think it's a right that people have the right to free speech. So he has the right to do and say whatever he wants to. But I don't think it matters whether or not we know the details of her deal. If she want to sell it to Walmart, whoever she wants to do it to, and however she wants to do it, that's her right. That's what she wants to do. I don't need to know the details. How is any of that coming to me? Me knowing the details, how do I benefit from knowing the details of what she chose and what's good for her or her family or not? I don't benefit from that. And so I don't think I need to weigh in on that. But now, is he saying facts? He is saying facts. Does placement matter? When you have your products in the store, it does matter. Now, for me, it don't, because I check all the when I want something, I want it bad, I look on all the levels, and then I even ask for a ladder so I could go up a little bit higher in case I can't see what I need, just in case it's sitting up there. So, but for some people, it does matter where the placement is. And then he is stating facts about when you do have agreements with retail stores, you have to make sure that you not only get the product sold, but you also have to make sure that you have it available when they need it, or you pay them. Now, he is saying facts, but what does that have to do with him feeling so passionate about her deal? Like, I just don't get that. Now, I can see if it was his deal and he might have got messed up on it, but why are you feeling so passionate about how she went about doing it?
You know what, Black men, I want y'all to chime in, because y'all, all this critique. See, this is what the sisters be complaining about. Anytime something happen to y'all, we show up, we pray, we march, we galvanize, we setting up foundations. And when the queens are doing their things, it's all this critique, it's all this negativity, this hate. So do y'all think Darius is hating on Tabitha? Now, I'm gonna give my opinion, right? As someone who's a CPA, who has, consulted with major companies, worked for some of the best firms in the world. I have seen companies' financials, right? And I've seen from small business owners to Fortune 100. Business is not just a cut and dry thing, right? You have to factor in your own personality, your spirit, what you have the capacity to do. Maybe Darius, as a man, felt like, okay, I can do this free enterprise. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to build stuff from the ground up. Ownership is important. And as Black people, I will say ownership is important, because we do not own a lot of these companies. Our ownership percentage is really, really small. So from that standpoint, of course, yes, right? He's talking about being able to convert her audience, right? Anyone who has a business that is on social media, you might have 100 million followers, and only out of that 100 million, a small percentage is the actual people that will buy. Maybe what, 5% if you're doing good. So, it will take a lot of marketing, ad spend, all of that, which Target already has the infrastructure for. So I can understand what we're saying. We don't know what constitutes her deal, right? We don't know if she owns that brand and she's licensing it to Target, and it's more like a distribution kind of deal, or if Target owns that brand and Target is licensing her name, her likeness, whatever. We don't know, right? So there's a lot of assumptions with that. I just wish that even if his critiques, and I do think he has some solid points, we need to learn how to speak to people. You can critique or give feedback with kindness. And I think that is what is missing. And that is what the ladies will appreciate from our Black men, right? So what I want to also think about is when it comes to enterprise, right? All of us have businesses or things that we're doing, right? What is the most important thing for you personally, and what we need as a community? I'll start with you, Moya. Do you think that we need to own our own things and try to launch our own things, or do you think partnerships would be more beneficial?
I think it really depends. It sounds like also when I looked further into it, once I knew we were talking about this, she still has some of her things that she has on her own. So she has her own items that she's still selling, and then she has her Target deal and distribution. I think this is the path if you are going to be able to fully elevate, because we could talk about ownership, but if you own something that's worth, let's say, $1 million, but you have a distribution deal that gives you access to 100 million, then you obviously have way more leverage on what you can do, how you can elevate, how you can scale with that larger amount of capital and access and money. So that's really what we're talking about here. It's what's going to get you to the path of true financial wealth and independence.
Okay. I love that. I love that. So Felice, my question to you is, if it were you, what would you do? If you were Tabitha, would you have just 100% independent, or would you have done the brand deal with Target? Oh, you're on mute.
I think that's a good question. And, I really don't know yet, but I agree with you, Moya. I agree with Moya because she's right. You don't know what her plan is. She might have a strategy. So I would like to come up with a strategy where I could leverage that and eventually own my stuff, because our wealth compared to white wealth is apples to oranges. And sometimes we got to go about things a little bit more strategic in order to get to a level where we really have enough money to say that I can own this completely. And so we don't know what her plan is, but I would love to be able to see more Black people own and keep their stuff, where we get to the point where we can start doing what Target does for our own people. Now, that would be the ultimate goal, but sometimes we got to do it on their backs. Sometimes we got to do it with their help in order to get there. So I don't know what her strategy is, but I would love to someday be a Target and be able to do and create partnerships for people.
Listen, let's speak that into existence, honey. We all have our brands, launching, and Target been hitting us up trying to come with the deal and the offer, honey. So I think there's a lot to be said about that. I wish we could understand what her deal is, or I wish there was like more transparency over that, just so aspiring entrepreneurs can understand what is available, because I'm sure her deal is not more. You said it was like a permanent partnership, right? I'm sure her deal is not like everyone else's, right? But if you are just watching, this is Fly Nubian Money. We are here Mondays to Fridays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to help you master your mindset and your money after this commercial break.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I am the proud producer of this show. So I hope that every day when you join us, you leave a little smarter than you came, because that's the point. Otherwise, why are you watching? So if you want to receive notices for when we go live, Fly Nubian Money goes live every single day. That's Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't know, now you know. All you have to do is text the word Queens. That's Queens. That's Queens to 87948. That's 87948. That's Queens to 87948. Yes? If you want.
That's Queens to 87948, honey. So make sure you text Queens to 87948 so you do not miss when we are live. So Dr. Charm, our holistic doctor, spiritualist, comedian. I know there's a million and one products that could probably be featured in Target off of your brand alone, honey. So if it was you, would you stay 100% independent, or would you let Target cut that check?
I'm gonna let Target cut that check, and this is the reason why. If so many celebrities would be able to profit just off of them being 100% independent, you would see more people doing it. So obviously, I think if it were music, I would say stay independent, because look how Chance the Rapper did, and then I remember Ice Cube saying once that he made more money on his albums when he did them independent than at the height of his career with NWA and all that. So for music, for sure. But when it comes to these pots and pans, I mean, she's got the seasoned sauce with McCormick. And so I think it's they have a built-in network, as I think as someone said earlier, but also she has the ability to diversify. So that's not her area of expertise. She's an entertainer. So unless she needs to partner with the right people, because they're talking about pots and pans, so then you got to have what materials are they made out of? Where are they manufactured? How is it distributed? She's going to have other products with them. But even Emerald Lagasse, I got some Emerald stainless steel cookware in my kitchen right now. He had a TV show. He's world famous, and he still went in with another partner to put his name on the pots and pans. So I think it's about just being lucrative and making sure she gets a solid deal. But Martha Stewart is a household name. She has a gazillion TV shows. She still partners with, I think she partnered with Macy's or somebody. So she's still partnered with people. So how is it that these major stars that have been in the business for years and years and they've been in the business way longer than Tabitha, how come they don't have, and they're white people, how come they don't have their own independent deals? Why are they choosing a partner? So I'm looking at that and thinking that maybe she weighed the options and it just wasn't the best thing for her, especially because she's diversifying into so many different products.
Right. And I know Tabitha's original goal was to be an actress, and she spent years trying to get her acting career off the ground. So I think all of this success that came from something else is just like a bonus for her. And it's not all about the money, but I think, obviously the money is good. The money is good. So
she retired her husband. She retired her husband, so she must be doing well financially to retire her husband.
I know Wendy had an issue with that when she initially did it. And like you said, Dr. Charm, now Wendy is sitting down. So I don't know. But this comes to another thought that I even want to highlight, what Big Mac says. Sometimes you got to get the money when it's time to get the money, right? So is there a difference between selling out or just being, focusing on your business and being lucrative, right? And do Black influencers have more of a pressure to not sell out than other people? I want to start with you, Moya. What are your thoughts about that?
I think we can also bring up with BET. Remember when BET, Bob Johnson, he sold to Viacom. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you're selling out. You're. This is the one thing that Black people have. Now you're giving it away to this white establishment." And then he became a billionaire. After his divorce, he had to split it, but that's a real thing. It's a real thing to say, I'm going to focus on how do I, because many entrepreneurs, and Athena, I'm sure that you know this, they don't have a way to cash out, meaning like you have this super big business, and then how do you get money from it? And one of the ways that you do that is either through licensing or by completely selling it. So that's one of the things that's a mechanism that they have to use. So I could definitely see how it would be a form of selling out, but while still focusing on building generational wealth.
Right, because I think a lot of people underestimate, especially in the social media space, because we see a lot of people trying to be influencers. Most of those influencers, they get their money mostly from brand deals, right? Their actual content like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok does not pay that much, right? It does not pay as much as people think. It's the brand deals and partnerships that are really funding even the influencers that we see that are living these different lifestyles. So Felice, I'll actually want to ask you the same question. Do we have this thing where, and of course we're on, we're B1, we're Black Business School, we're Dr. Boyce, right? We're focusing on Black economic empowerment. But are there moments like this case where, okay, I might need to put that Black economic empowerment on the back burner and empower myself versus just focusing on me just 100% owning everything independently so I can say I'm a independent Black business?
And that kind of bothers me that we put this pressure on our ethnicity when it comes to whether or not we a sellout when it comes to business. Business is not about color, it's personal, and it's about green. Business is about money. And so one of the things that I heard is that, first of all, you don't call your business your baby, and that you position it to be sold. You position your business so that it can get acquired and that it can be sold. That is the ultimate goal. And so for us to say that I'm selling out by doing business, I can't help my people poor. I can help them rich. And
say
so
that again.
I can't help my people and be a blessing to them if I'm poor. And I can't be in the ditch with all of y'all talking about I'm so happy to be Black, and I sell out, but we all in ditches, right? And so no, in order for me to be a blessing to my people, I got to be rich, and I need to be. I have to strategize what that means. And so I saw somebody with the thing that said about our intellectual property. And so maybe I can go ahead and be about business and protect my intellectual property and my name. And if I have money, I can do that. If I have money, I'm on the side of wealth, I can make sure that I protect my intellectual property and that nobody gets to just use it and abuse it as they wish. So I think I'm going to go with that.
Listen,
Dr. Felice, she letting them have it.
Some of the no-taps might be upset with you after, calling them that they in the ditch, honey. That the pro-consciousness group, with the incense and everything, the kufi hats, Dr. Umar might, be upset with you with that comment just now. But Dr. Charm, right? Dr. Charm, I want to pivot this to you. Just Growing in Detroit says, I think partnership helps. Packaging and marketing takes a huge chunk out of expenses that smaller businesses aren't ready for. So Dr. Charm, what are your thoughts on that? Does he have a point?
Yeah, I agree. I'm assuming, oh, that's a girl. Okay, she has Just Growing in Detroit has a great point, and that's what I'm saying. Like, she doesn't have to Tabitha and these other celebrities like Emerald Lagasse and Martha Stewart. They don't have to take the risk. Target has assumed the risk for them, and we don't know the minutia. We don't know the details of their deal. We don't know how it benefits them. So I think she's being smart. She is an actor. I was so happy to see her on The Chi with a lot of my actor friends on The Chi. So she had that arc, and she did a really great job. So she's able to live her dreams while Target over there sells her pots and pans, and McCormick sells her seasoning and whatever else she comes out with. But that girl can market now. She has the personality, because I remember, because I played with veganism. I used to go vegan like 3 months out of the year. And like now I'll do like pesco vegetarian during the week, and I eat meat like once a week. But I'm always at Whole Foods. I live at Whole Foods. And I remember when she had that bacon, it was that vegan bacon sandwich. I went to Whole Foods, looking for that sandwich, and they were like, we sold out. So she knows what she's doing, and I think she's fine. And this guy, we don't even know who he is. Like, who are you? We don't even know you, sir. Like, to be making comments over here talking on the woman. First of all, why is that man talking on the black woman? Like, he need to go get his own business.
See, y'all need to uplift us, black men in the chat. Y'all be the first. Y'all, when opportunity comes to uplift, it'll be a lot of critique.
No, but
she got her black husband uplifting her every day, and I'm watching her and Kev on stage, and they taking flights on Emirates with showers. They got their own private shower in first class. Tabitha, fine child. Just invest your money wisely and keep up the good work, sis. And I will try to go get me a Tabitha pot or pan very soon.
But I think you raised a good question, Dr. Charm. Like, who is this young man? I mean, I know that I went on social media to try and see some stuff, and it looks like he may not operate out of the best character. That there's been some stuff with him where he hasn't done things in excellence, and so is it possible, right, that there can be a little bit of animosity, and we need to stop that. Like you said, Athena, we need to start celebrating one another. And instead of, bashing each other real quick, especially black men, y'all have got to start loving us the way that we love you, because we love black men. And it would be really nice to get that same thing reciprocated. And love on Tabitha and wait. Be patient. Wait. So you can ask her, what did you do? How did you do it? And how do I learn and do some things, and then do your twist, and go about and do you, so we can celebrate you. Because I would love to be able to celebrate him.
Yes, I would love to be able to celebrate him as well. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about Darius Cooks' comments towards Tabitha Brown. And he has been getting a lot of feedback, some backlash on these comments. So he actually wanted to follow up with us to explain what he meant by what he was saying in his original video.
More foolishness.
Because he will.
Another thing that I often say is the word fool. I say it is in my everyday vernacular, right? Let's say you walk outside and it's cold outside. Oh, the weather's a fool, right? Oh, there's so much sun in my eye. Oh, the sun's a fool, right? Oh, this chicken needs more salt. This chicken is a fool, right? There you go. So people said that I called Tabitha Brown a fool. And I'm thinking to myself, because at first when they said it, I'm like, well, did I? Or what reason would I have had to call her a fool? I don't know the woman. We don't have a conversation. So how could I have just come up and called her a fool? So I had to go back and watch the video. And I'm like, oh, I was responding to a question about brand deals. And that's where the term came up from. So that's all there was, right? That's where the conversation.
Okay, so he came out with another video, another statement to explain to explain, people may not be used to him if he has some new followers, what he meant by his statements. He was backpedaling. Moya, did you buy what he was saying in that video?
Not at all. Not at all, because the level of veracity that he had in his voice when he was directing it to her, and he was talking about, because I think he said it more than once, if I remember correctly, calling her a fool. So no, this wasn't just a flipping of the tongue. It just wasn't the type of words that I use in my vernacular. It wasn't any of that. He knew what he meant when he called her a fool. And I think that's the unfortunate part. And I think he just, instead of backpedaling, he should have just said, I'm sorry. I apologize. That would have worked too.
Listen, a lot of men don't like to apologize. Do they, Dr. Charm?
I'm not turning this into a male bash. I'm turning this to a Darius bash. Is his name Darius Cooks or Darius Crooks? Because it seems like you're trying to piggyback and get our beloved Tabitha's followers. And I say, you better watch it. You may end up in that facility like Wendy. And I love me some Wendy Williams, but as soon as she said it about Tabitha, everything turned awry. And he ain't even from the Bible on it, because the Bible say you don't call your brother a fool. So you call, talking about the son is a fool. That's not even an idiom. Oh, the son is a fool today. I've never heard anybody use language like that. He just didn't like that backlash. And so now he's scrambling and scraping, trying to pick up his face from off the floor.
Do you agree with that, Dr. Felice, that he's trying to scramble and pick his face up off the floor? Maybe his brand might be suffering right now from trying to attack Tabitha.
And that's possibly the seed that he put out there, right? Because first of all, people love themselves some Tabitha. You hear me? Like, we love her. And why not? She's gifted, she's talented, she's beautiful. You can tell she's a loving spirit. And so why would you come for her? Regardless of what, that wasn't the right thing to do. That wasn't smart. And so that wasn't an apology. And that didn't even, he could have kept that. He really could have kept it. Because he didn't say, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Because one, she's not a fool. So it's not even accurate. And second, it wasn't necessary. And he probably can hurt his fan base by messing with Tabitha.
Listen, and we understand that maintaining fan bases are super important. And that's why we here at Fly Nubian Money especially wants to do that with our audience. And we'll go right now into our commercial break explaining just that.
You want to grow your money and not blow your money, as Constance says, check us out at flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, programs, videos, resources. In 2024, there's no reason to be broke when there's information all around us. So get your money right. flynubianmoney.com.
I feel like I wore the perfect outfit for this little hand gesture right here with the sleeves. FlyNubianMoney.com. Okay, so listen. You want to grow your money, not blow your money. Make sure you check the link down below, FlyNubianMoney.com, so that you can learn to master your income, honey, because we are all about the economic empowerment. Even when we have haters like Darius, okay, commenting on how you get to the money, the most important thing is that you do get to it. Now, so what I like about this whole thing, right? And I love Queen Tabitha as well, right? Did you guys think that Tabitha was going to let this go unsaid? You think she was not going to address Wagwan, okay? Just like she had to gather out Wendy by her little edges that she had left, okay? Queen Tabitha had to come through with the read of all reads. I love how Tabitha reads. It's just so classy and sophisticated. It's a classy read. So we are going to go into that right now and see how Tabitha schools us on how to read people, honey.
Hello there. Y'all all right? So listen real quick. I was talking to a good friend today, and he was sharing with me how something that somebody did upset him. And he was like, honey, and they had the nerve to say what they said, right? And so I told him, I said, some folk, that's all they have is the nerve. Honey, they only have the nerve to say foolishness. They only have the nerve to talk about folk. They only have the nerve to look down on folk. They only have the nerve to complain. Some folk, that's all they got is the nerve. And that is why your success get on their nerves. Your happiness get on their nerves. Your joy get on their nerves. Honey, your family and your home get on their nerves. Your job, your career, it gets on their nerves because that's all they got. They spend so much time complaining and having the nerve to speak on other folk that that's all that they have gotten left is their nerve. So baby, don't spend your time letting them type of folk get on your nerve, okay? That's all they got. But you have so much more. Honey, they have no integrity. They have no loyalty. They have no joy, no love, no compassion. They don't have a good family life. They don't have good friendships. That's why they're so focused on other folk. That's why everything get on their nerve. And that's why that's all they got left. It's the nerve to cut up and act a fool. Don't let them folk get to you. All right? Very good. I love you. Now, go about your business. Have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't let nobody get on your nerves, okay? Don't you dare go messing up nobody else's here. I love y'all. Bye.
Listen, I just felt renewed. I felt my spirit got lighter. Like she was reading somebody, and I just felt like she was also like lifting me up at the same time while she was reading. Like, so Dr. Charm, we're gonna go to you first, because I know you love a good read too. How did you feel about Tabitha's approach to the situation? Because she did not name him specifically, but we knew, where it was headed.
First of all, the words were kind, but that smile looked like she was gonna cut a bitch. Tabitha said, "Bloop, bloop, bloop. Hate on me, hater. Now or later." Okay. She can read. She read in a Christian way, just a very Christian read, with the Bible open and everything, child. Open the Psalm 109.
Listen, when I was engaged to my Southern ex-pastor fiance, and I had my whole, I'm Jamaican, so I had my whole introduction to the Southern lifestyle, and had to learn what nice nasty was and all that Tabitha Brown Christian read. Because in Jamaica we straight up with it. There's no sugar, no. So I had to learn that demure read, honey. So Dr. Felice, what were your thoughts about her response as well? Did you think that she should have even made one? Or did you think that how she approached it was appropriate?
Well, I think with how she's so big and her brand is so enormous that she did what people would just, hope, like, people are waiting to see. And so she just went ahead and eliminated all that. And she was very mature, emotionally intelligent, and classy. She just did it with pure class, where she kind of like gave him a reason to change, right? She kind of showed him in a way that he could receive. And hopefully he hears it, receives it, and he makes the change to not just be a person who has a nerve.
Yeah, because she was talking about nerves a lot. I had a saying that people try to tap dance on my nerves. Listen, if you tap dance on my nerve, you got to go. Right. So I appreciate it. I just felt so light listening to her. Like I was like, I need to take notes, because I'd be just ready to cut somebody real quick. But you want to be like a surgeon. You want to take your time when you cutting somebody. So Moya, what were your thoughts on Tabitha's comments and her response, and how you think Darius would probably react to that?
Yeah, I think the part where she started going in on him about friends and family, I was like, oh wow, okay. But one of the things I also want to keep in mind is like what he said isn't crazy. What he said has a point. It's just, as you said, Athena, how he delivered it. That was the biggest thing. I think that's important to realize, because Taylor Swift, she recently did something similar in the sense of she has a book coming out and she decided to self-publish it. And, people were going up in arms to say, how is she not using one of the big publishing houses to do it? But she is, ironically enough, distributing it through Target. So it is a viable channel. Doing things on your own it does make sense, but it has to within alignment of what you want to do for yourself and your family. So that's the only thing. I think, what he said makes sense, but it's just probably not applicable in Tabitha's situation. And his the way he delivered it was all wrong.
Can I piggyback off of Moya real quick? Because one of the things that people who don't like, having a business is difficult. It's not easy. It's all these different pieces. And I heard that the more money you have, the more issues you have. And so where she's at, it also could be, can you imagine that she doesn't have to be the one responsible for the distribution? She's the one that doesn't have to be responsible for the research. That takes time. That takes effort. That is a team of employees that has to get paid, get benefits, 401k, can sue, all a wealth of things that come with you being a boss. And so I think it also comes from, a lack of knowledge of what it means, why somebody might go a route. And it takes money and it takes a team to make things run seamlessly. And so that's what I think. I think we don't know. Like, She wants to act.
Yes. So I feel like, as a CPA, and I've seen all kind of different businesses, right? Every business is different. Not everyone is up to the task to do that level of work or even have the infrastructure. Look at even record labels, for example. A lot of these artists like Yo Gotti, Diddy with Bad Boy, all these spin-off labels, Beyonce with Parkwood, right? Those labels still are signed under another major label for distribution, right? So even when we try to do things as Black people, right? In certain industries, we can't penetrate because the infrastructure is non-Black, and it is hard to navigate those spaces and create something brand new from scratch. On average, we have 3 times less capital than non-Black counterparts when it comes to business, right? Plus, with business, there's risk. You can throw a whole heap of money, and trust me, I have, towards certain things and may not ever see a kind of return on that, right? So even if and I know we have a lot of flack because, there's businesses like Shea Moisture, Miel Organics, who eventually sell off their brands, or Honey Pot went through this as well, where they sell off their brands to a major company, and all the Black people are like upset. But you also have to understand that there's also so much risk within the viability. And now they have that money from selling their business or their deal or whatever as seed and funding for not only their future generations, but also to start their own stuff down the line again, if they want to. Now we have another video of Darius explaining himself, honey, because I guess after Tabitha read him, honey, he humbled himself a little bit more. So we're going to take a look and see what he has to say about his own actions.
And y'all took a soundbite and blew it up to more than what it had to be. So let's dig a little deeper. Let's take this opportunity and go a little deeper, and I will expound upon what I meant. So I do not know the specifics of whatever brand deal Tabitha Brown has. Don't know, don't even care. It's not even relevant to the conversation. What I do know is that if said person would have taken the idea to create products, the idea to put products on the market, coupled with what I know to be true about e-commerce, coupled with what I know to be true about converting sales on social media, she would have made more money. Now that's what I said, right? If a person owns the entire process, not just uses their name, they would make more money. Now, who is even to say that this is what Tabitha Brown wants to do, right? Tabitha Brown may not be interested in owning her own Shopify store and pushing her own product across she may be perfectly fine with what she's doing. And if she's perfectly fine with that, there's no problem with this, right? All I'm saying, and all I said to the person who asked, was that you could have generated a lot more money. Now, what I did.
All right, ladies. So he came back with another explanation. So I'm going to start with you, Dr. Charm. Should we believe Darius and what he's saying? Because I heard through the little grapevine that he may not be someone we can trust.
Darius Cooks. So I went to a Reddit, which is one of my favorite sites. Y'all talk about Reddit all y'all want, but I found some very disgruntled customers of his. And maybe the reason Tabitha is partnering with Target, who has a set distribution network and a history of consistency and good customer service, or great customer service, is because maybe when you go out on your own and you don't have your shit together, you get comments like this. And I quote, "I bought 2 of his cookbooks hoping to cook some of the recipes for Christmas. I didn't receive them for months and had to email him multiple times and comment on posts to have them sent to me finally. The books were poor quality. The recipe pages didn't line up with the photos of the food. You would have to flip the page for the photo of the food that corresponded with the recipe. I tried cooking the peach pound cake for my sister's birthday and it was terrible." Also, somebody said that his post, they bought an air fryer that didn't even work. So Darius, Cooks, it seems like you going out on your solo business ventures might not have been so successful, and you might want to rethink criticizing Miss Tabitha.
Listen, all right. So having a Alibaba drop shipping store connected to a Shopify account is a viable business strategy that I'm not going to hate on. However, the risk with that is to ensure the quality and the distribution of your own products. So with that comes more responsibility. And according to what you said, Dr. Charm, it doesn't seem like he's taking those responsibilities very well. Dr. Felice, do you feel like he's preaching? Is he like preaching about what Tabitha should do when his own stuff is not together?
Absolutely, which a lot of people do, right? And I think he totally backtracked. Like whatever, people must have came back to him swift, and he got the message. But again, you and Dr. Charm mentioned it again, and it's not, Black business owners, we do need grace, but we also have to operate wisely, because sometimes, though we're gifted and we're talented in whatever the thing that we're doing, sometimes we're not ready for the influx of clients who are appreciative of our gifts and talents, and we promise more than we can deliver, and we don't have infrastructure in place. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with Tabitha understanding that and partner with somebody who can make sure we don't talk about them and we don't blow them up and say we didn't get something that we were supposed to get when we were supposed to get it, and that we can continue to frequent Black businesses because they are operating in wisdom and not doing more than what they can do and promise to do and give up on us, and then eventually go to other ethnicities to get their food and give them grace, right? And so it's that thing. And he's just doing what happens, but you got to be wise too. Just don't say anything. If you don't know what to say and how to say it, just shut up. Don't say nothing. And just be quiet and go about living, go about doing your life, and then you don't have to backtrack.
I love Big Mac's comment. Let's put it back up, honey. Let's put it back up. Moya, does Big Mac have a point, right? He should have just went out and did what she's saying she should have done, then speak on it. Like, obviously he's doing that, but not on the level of a Tabitha Brown. So even in this process, maybe Tabitha is proving maybe her method was better, because clearly she don't have no quality control issues like Darius, right? So what are your thoughts on it? Should Darius just mind his own business?
And the thing is, we wouldn't know if she had quality control issues because Target has an ecosystem to absorb it, right? You go and you return it, and then you can exchange it. Like, there's a whole method to do that, while a Shopify store doesn't lend itself to be as easy. The one thing that I do want to do, though, in this moment, and I like what Dr. Felice was getting at, is us being mindful of just shooting down other Black businesses as well. Like, we have to consider what that means in the build-up stage. Now, I don't know what stage Darius is at in terms of how he can have a better infrastructure. But one thing I do know is we just have to also be mindful of what he's saying, because so she's represented by CAA. So that's one of the top 3 agencies that represents talent. So she's represented by a highly group of talented agents. So one thing that we have to remember and keep in mind is they are not pushing Shopify store because they don't get a cut from a Shopify store. They're definitely pushing something bigger, something that lends itself to a Target, to a Walmart, to a wider distribution network. So they also get a cut. So I think we also have to be mindful of who's in what team and what they're advocating for different people. So we can also put that in mind too when we're having this conversation.
Listen, I'm glad that we are having this conversation, because even though this is, popular culture, there's a lot of business lessons that we are learning from this situation, right? And that's what we try to bring to you here at Fly Nubian Money, where we take these, everyday pop culture events and help you find the lessons and give you the very much so curated business advice that we can give to help you master your mindset and your money. So we're going to do just that after this commercial break.
Fly Nubian Money is now on Spotify. Yes, yes, yes. We are on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, you can listen to us. All you have to do is search Fly Nubian Money and we will appear. All of our episodes. Make sure that you leave a 5-star rating and reviews so other people that come along and are looking for a good show to watch, they'll follow us too. If you are interested in being on Fly Nubian Money, sorry, I don't have any spaces. I'm just playing. If you are interested in being a queen or a king on Fly Nubian Money for the day, please reach out to me. I'm at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@realvirtual.net. Also, if you need help with your business, go ahead and send me an email for that too. Okay. I've said enough. Now back to the show.
So listen, if you're interested in becoming a guest queen or king, make sure you reach out to info@realvirtual.net, honey. And I promise we don't bite. It is fun, and you can come and give us your expertise on these everyday topics. Now, what I want to say is when it comes to this because I had a conversation with someone earlier about this within our community, I want to see us move from the men and the women competing with each other or coming against each other, and just more unity and coming together as one. So all of us can rise together. Moya, can you tell us or give any advice on how we can facilitate more community versus competition within between us as men and women?
I know somebody had a comment earlier talking about her deal, and if she doesn't disclose her deal, will that be gatekeeping? I think to some extent, those things would be helpful. Like, it gives us insight into what it looks like. Now, nobody wants to necessarily talk about their money and how they do their deal like that. That is, I can see how that's proprietary information. I do believe that if we looked at each other as being in the same household, being a part of the same family, and believing that all tides lift all boats, I definitely believe that it would allow us to come together easier.
I agree. And Nuri Muhammad, who's also going to be at the All Black National Convention this weekend, he had a talk about, I think his talk is about from colony to community, saying that we still act in a very colonized fashion versus being in a community. Do you agree with that, Dr. Felice?
Definitely, and people refuse to call gentrification colonization, right? So like we are still in an atmosphere where we really don't support, uplift, encourage, and help one another. And we still have a scarcity crab-like mindset. And we have to start collaborating. We have to start knowing that we live in abundance and that there's room for everybody. And that everybody's not going to be for you. That's why you can have thousands of everybody, because there's somebody specifically assigned to me. It's not for you. It's not for Dr. Charm or Moya. It's for me. So I can be on the same platform with y'all. I don't have to compete because I'm going to have no matter what. And why not get pieces of the pie? Eventually, I'm going to get a whole pie. But with a lot of Black people, they want the whole pie, but you're not equipped, prepared, or positioned to go after, keep, or maintain the whole pie. So why not just make sure that we all come together, we all get a piece, and we gradually go up to next levels together where we all have our own individual pies. It's all about collaboration. It's all about love. And it's all about, thank you, Fly Nubian, for inviting our kings to the platform, because they have to be in these settings contributing their voices to this conversation. It's not enough that you just hear from us. We got to hear from you too, and welcome it.
Well said, Dr. Felice. And I do think with this platform, I love that we have like Dr. Joe that comes on, LL Cool Joe, and sometimes Big Mac, guests come on and share their critiques and thoughts as well, because we do want to move to more of a community and inclusive situation, because Dr. Charm, I know that you're out here in these streets dating, also professionally. Do you feel like we still have that spirit of competition between us versus collaboration?
I mean, we have a spirit of hate, and I think what happens is that I think as a person who's always been eccentric, gifted, talented, above the fray, I feel it. I felt it all my life. And what's sad is that rather than concentrating on minding your own business, when people don't concentrate on minding their own business, they're minding everybody else's business, pocket watching. See, if I'm not to the level that I want to be at, I'm looking at the person who was above me for inspiration. Like, oh, I want to do that in my own right. Or I want to be successful too. Not trying to figure out how I can drag this person and talk about them. Like Tabitha Brown, I'm an actress. I'm like, let me keep making my videos so I can go viral over a Texas vegetable protein sandwich and some avocado bacon and all this stuff that she did. Like, that's inspirational, but you got to have the right attitude. When people don't have the right attitude, that dragging folks down and talking about folks. I mean, because I didn't even know who Darius Cooks was until he did this hateration video about Tabitha. And you know what he could have done? Could have avoided all this if he really had a spirit of helping her. He could have picked up the phone and called her, but he don't got her number. He could have just DM'd her. But he didn't have the wherewithal to do that. He's too busy trying to be nasty. And that's why I know a producer didn't get to play it. But somebody in the comments did talk about Andrew Caldwell reading him for not getting his pots and pans. That's why your customers got message boards complaining about your lack of service. If you would concentrate on your own business, mind your own business, get your customers their pots and pans and air fryers that work, and the cookbook where the recipes line up with the pictures. If you concentrate on doing that instead of concentrating on talking about Tabitha, then you would have some business and not disgruntled customers.
Listen, and that was a read in itself, honey. I can see why you are a comedian, Dr. Charm, and I can see why you won first place last week as well. But all right, so today was a word. Okay, today was a word, and Darius Cooks talking about Tabitha Brown. I think this is a nice business lesson for all of us. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and there's multiple ways to go about business. I just feel like everyone needs to do what is best for them, and that also suits their personality. So, ladies, queens, goddesses, final thoughts on where the good people can find you. We're going to start with you first, Dr. Felice.
If everybody would go to b.big.coach on Instagram and bbigcoach on Facebook, you can also find me on my website, www.thebebigcoach.com. I am here to be a coach also and/or a therapist for you.
Mm-hmm. And okay. All right. So, Moya, let's share your final thoughts, where the good people can find you, and let the people know that you will also be at ABC.
So one of the things I think is so important with this discussion is it allows us to know that there's so many pathways to the success that we want to have in our business. And we need to look at these different methods and see what is applicable to us. Because on one end, we can see that it takes a lot to run a business to get to the millions that they're talking about. And on the other end, it also can be detrimental if we don't do enough due diligence versus just partnering with these big companies. So I think it's just important that we're very mindful of knowing what we're getting into when we're doing these brand partnerships. My name is Moya. I'm a tax professional, and I founded Juneteenth School because I believe our wealth is in our children. So if you want to get on the emailing list so you can be the first to know of any classes and what classes we have available, go to www.juneteenthschool.com.
Listen, if I had some kids, they would be in the Juneteenth school, honey, because not this education system by itself. No, ma'am. Dr. Charm, doctor, comedian, actress, all the things. You gave a couple reads to Darius today. Where can the good people find you, and share your final thoughts on the situation today?
My final thoughts today are concentrate on minding your business, because that's the business that pays you. My name is Dr. Charm. You can find me on Instagram at CharmGirl77. If anybody's in Las Vegas, November 16th, 2024, this Saturday night, I will be competing and being showcased at the Keenan Presents Pop-Up Comedy Festival for Clean Comedy at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club on the Las Vegas Strip. So come check me out if you're in Vegas. I drop new skits every week at CharmGirl77. Come to my IG for a nice laugh. And if you want a reading, if you want to see what your business life should be like, if you want some advice from your grandmother that's passed over, I am a trained medium in the Spiritualist churches in Atlanta and Chicago. So you can text me 404-832-5179 for your own personal reading for tarot or for mediumship.
Listen, Dr. Chan, I got tired just listening to all the hats you're wearing, honey. I hope you're getting that rest. Femininity requires rest, darling. Okay, listen. So my final thoughts are this, right? No hateration, holleration in the dancery. Okay. If you do not have anything positive to say, that, or even if it's a critique, if you focus on having a positive delivery in a spirit of collaboration and community, it will go much further. Listen, if Darius actually reached out to Tabitha or said it in a nice way, or even invited her onto his show, maybe a collaboration between them could have helped his business, right? So let us take a lessons from that. My name is Athena Garner. I'm a CPA honey, founder of We Wealth Women, where I help women confidently manage their finances and live their best goddess life. You can find all things about me, what I'm doing at wewealthwoman.com, at the social media at We Wealth Women, and listen to me on the We Wealth Women podcast. I will also be this weekend at the All Black National Convention teaching the AI Edge, okay? How to build a thriving Black business in 30 days, since we're talking about business today. So make sure you come to Lombard, Illinois. I think they got like 2 tickets left. Make sure you come out there to see us and fellow queens as well. Today's show was very insightful. I hope a lot of you got a lot of business insights and use this as a case study of what not to do when you are giving feedback to someone that's even more successful than you, which is interesting. But we love you guys. We love the Fly Nubian Queen audience. Please make sure you text the word Queens, that is QUEENS, to 87948 so you do not miss us when we are live. We also occasionally have some free resources for you there. And also at flynubianmoney.com, honey, because we want you to grow your money, not blow your money, like Constance says. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you in the next one.